Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for attending the webinar this morning. My name is Joe Rasich, and today is Friday, March 14th, and it is about 11:04 Central Standard Time. We still have a lot of agents signing in, but we got to get started. TGIF, I hope that everybody has a good weekend planned. And again, thank you for attending. This is going to cover our first day coverage and guaranteed issue final expense. So CICA, Citizens Life Insurance Company of America, is what it stands for. When I analyze all the other final expense products in the industry, this is my personal opinion. I've been in business for a long time. This is the best final expense product in the marketplace today. And it's not because it is low priced, and it's not because of commissions, though price is very good and commissions are great, but because CICA focuses on the client's needs first. And this brings opportunities for life agents just like yourself. There's a lot of clients out there who need life insurance. And when they can get first day coverage on a lot of health conditions, that is what pushes CICA up to one of the best. Well, they provide guaranteed issue coverage where other carriers either will decline it or maybe subject it to a graded, modified, or return of premium product. There's not another carrier, to my knowledge, that starts at age 0 all the way to 85 and offer a guaranteed issue product. 25% of CICA's sales today are under 50 years old. And again, when you think about final expense, you know that area is typically between 50 and 80, 50 and 85. So they provide first day coverage, again, for conditions that other carriers will offer graded or even decline. So they just announced the sales incentive trip for 2026. Details will be coming. We'll send out videos as well, talking about Columbia as well as CICA. So again, let's get started. We have a great crowd today. We had 125 plus register. So again, thank you for attending. And my name again is Joe Rasich. I am the Chief Marketing Officer of Visionary Inc. So what are we going to cover today? We're going to talk about who is Citizens Life Insurance Company. Okay, they're a B double plus AM Best company. We're going to talk about who Allegiant Wealth Group is. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Visionary Inc. And there are 2 products currently to choose from in the portfolio for CICA, with the third one being developed and will be on its way soon. We're going to talk about the opportunity of finding a computer program, which I say that there's an underwriter in your computer, also going to be in your cell phone. And we're going to talk about how to find a needle in a haystack when you have a client with a lot of health conditions. Again, there are 2 unique product introductions that I'm going to talk about at the end of this webinar. One is an instant decision term to $1 million with 130% price tag. And another one is another guaranteed issue whole life product with first day coverage up to $75,000. So stick around. If time permits, we could talk about contracting, and we could talk about how they can take applications, either face-to-face or telesales. Probably won't get into that, but if we have some time and questions, we can answer those. but we will send out information for those of you who want to get contracted as well. Well, one of the things I want to tell you about is, and I always forget this, in your when you entered and you have the ability to ask questions or chat me a question, and at the end I will try to answer them as best I possibly can. If I don't get them, then what I'll do, we always get a copy of the questions and who sent them. I will go ahead and email you those answers. So let's talk about Citizens first. Citizens Life Insurance Company. Citizens Life is a holding company, and they have 3 carriers underneath them. CICA Life of America is the one that is offering the superior choice products with first day and guaranteed issue 0 to 85. They're rated B, double plus. They were incorporated in 1965. They started selling domestically in 1969 and internationally started in 1975. And they are represented right now in 75 different countries. Citizens, they trade on the New York Stock Exchange. You could look them up. Their stock code is CIA. Allegiant Wealth Group, who are they? They have the exclusive agreement to market superior choice products. Visionary Inc., we are one of 5 national marketing organizations in the country to recruit agents and agencies to this plan. And Visionary, we are a national marketing company, and we concentrate on very unique products and services to the insurance agents across the country. So let's talk about some of the great features of the CICA final expense product. First of all, there is no height and weight chart. So I always tell agents, go plant yourself in front of a weight loss clinic and hand out brochures. There are no tobacco questions, so it doesn't make any difference if they're a smoker or non-smoker. If they vape, does not make any difference because they don't even ask that question. One of the nice things is that they're not going to run a MIB, Medical Information Bureau report. You know, if they were, a lot of carriers do that today. Most carriers do that today. And if they see that one carrier declined your client, oftentimes they won't even entertain an application. So CICA doesn't even run that report. So they do what they do is they call it a soft prescription drug check. Now, they're not looking for the medication. What they're looking for is the consistency in the refills. So if a client happened to be diabetic on insulin and the report shows that they're not refilling their prescriptions, that's not a good thing. And then it could knock them from first day coverage into the graded product. They are going to ask for physician's information. A copy of the application questions. Now, we're going to go over the questions because this is what makes CICA extremely valuable to you and to your clients. But I'm going to go through each question. It's pretty quick. And the application is online only or telesales over the phone, and there is no paper application. Also, there is no policy fee and no modal factors. You'll find the rates inside the underwriting guide or the agent guide, and you can just take that rate per 1,000, multiply it by the amount of life insurance, and divide by the modal factor or the quarterly, monthly. There's no fee. There's no policy fee and there's no modal factor fee. Okay, they are in all the states except the ones that I've listed here. I could click on the state approval list, but I'll tell you, it's hard to see. So here are the states that they are not in. So I'll leave this up just for a second. Now you could have non-resident licenses in all of the other states other than the ones listed below. And of course, you can sell that product in those states that are approved. So their plan is to be in every state and even Puerto Rico. they say they probably will never be in New York, just like a lot of other carriers. Coming soon, we just added Illinois and Connecticut. And coming soon is Alaska, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Vermont. They're already approved. We're just waiting for something from the state. Let's keep that in mind. All right, superior choice, standard. Standard means first day coverage. And if you're between the ages of 0 and 50, you could get anywhere from a minimum of $1,000 to $30,000. From 51 to 70, you can get up to $20,000 of coverage. And over 70, 71 to 85, 10,000 is the max. And again, the death benefit, if approved, is immediate. They do have a terminal illness rider and a dismemberment rider that is included in the rates. And they have an accidental death rider for $5 a month. It will double the death benefit. So again, that is optional, and it's $5. So again, I'm going to go through this really quickly. Terminal illness, they'll pay up to $15,000 and advance that if terminally ill. And then accidental death is from ages 0 to 84, up to $30,000. Coverage terminates at 85, and it's again $5 a month. And they have a dismemberment. Chances are, you got to be on a trolley car in San Francisco at 12 o'clock noon, probably get this paid for, but it does happen, and claims have been paid. So again, this is all going to be in the agent guide, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this one. Okay, again, to my knowledge, CICA is the only final expense product offering guaranteed issue whole life from 0 to 85. Now, there's carriers out there that'll offer coverage down to 0, all right, but it's underwritten, all right, and it could be declined. We will not decline anyone in the states that they are approved in. So again, common health conditions, since there are 2 plans, there's that first day coverage, and then there's the guaranteed issue graded return of premium for 2 years. How do I know which one will they qualify for? So let's check out the underwriting questions. So in your underwriting guide, you'll find common health conditions and basically what they're capable of applying for. So again, if you're have a client with AIDS or HIV, they're going to get a policy. It's just going to be graded. So that 2-year grade with a 10% return of premium. If they live 2 years and 1 day, they've got full coverage. So amputation, that's going to be standard. So again, if somebody who is diabetes, who has diabetes, they had an amputation, you can get standard issue. And again, some of the good cardiomyopathy, this is a good one. And I'm going to demonstrate this in a minute. Congestive heart failure. A lot of carriers they'll decline it. They won't even give you graded if somebody is being treated or say they have congestive heart failure. Chronic pancreatitis, COPD, cancer, current cancer, again, guaranteed issue. Past cancers with no reoccurrence, no spreading, metastasis, there's no spreading to other organs, and no multiple occurrences where they had it and it came back. They can get standard issue, first day coverage. I am a cancer survivor. I could qualify for standard with this plan. So again, dialysis, somebody who's got kidney failure, renal failure, going to get their treatment, they can get first day coverage. That's huge, ladies and gentlemen. Heart attack. If they had a heart attack and they're being treated by a physician, taking medication for that heart attack, they get first day coverage. And again, heart disease, hepatitis is first day coverage. Standard is first day. Insulin use, diabetic, as long as it's under control at any age, right? Childhood diabetes is not favorable. CICA will give them first day coverage. Kidney failure, I talked about dialysis and renal failure, kidney failure, same thing. Again, organ transplant, if it's over 5 years, standard. Even a heart transplant. Somebody on oxygen who's smoking can get standard issue. Why? They don't ask a smoking question and they'll take somebody on oxygen. Pacemaker, sickle cell anemia, a single cancer occurrence, again, no metastasis, not currently being treated. So again, if they're not being treated. Now there's something between, I defined this the other day with the underwriter. Somebody's being treated, which means that they're still trying to get it cured. And then there's preventative, something that the cancer doesn't show up any longer, but they are taking a preventative medication or a preventative treatment. That's okay. So again, this is what has put CICA on the map in the United States. These conditions where you can get first day coverage, and the fact that no one could ever get declined. So let's go over these health questions real quick. There are 8 health questions. If the client answers yes to any of them, again, they will get coverage. It'll just be graded. So are you currently hospitalized? So if somebody's currently hospitalized, confined to a bed in a nursing home, they'll get coverage. They just won't get first day coverage. There'll be a graded plan. Have they tested positive for exposure to HIV? All right, if they have, then it's going to be, if they say yes to that, they're going to get a graded policy, but they are going to get a policy, ladies and gentlemen, unlike any other carrier that I know of out there, unless they're over 50. So under 50 years old, somebody with HIV can get coverage. Have you been diagnosed by a licensed member of the medical profession with one, now this is key, with more than one occurrence of cancer, a reoccurrence of cancer, metastasis of cancer, or currently being treated for cancer? If you could say no to that, you could get first day coverage. And again, more than one occurrence of any cancer. This is the most complicated question that there is, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on it because it all hinges on the word not. So in this question, there are a lot of conditions that most carriers will either decline it or they'll send it to a graded program. So in this case, if a client has uncontrolled diabetes, uncontrolled high blood pressure, stroke, TIA, which is a mini stroke, paralysis, again, congestive heart failure, heart disease, cardiomyopathy, lung disease, including chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, i.e. emphysema, liver cirrhosis or failure, kidney failure, insufficiency, or chronic end-stage kidney disease, including dialysis. They can have that condition, but if they're not being treated for it, it would be a graded plan. But if they have these conditions and they are being treated by a doctor and or taking medication, then you can say no to this, and a good chance that they could get first day coverage. So again, standard, which is first day approval, is if the client is taking medication or being treated by a licensed member of the medical profession. That is a difficult question, so you have to really concentrate on that word not. They're not being treated for these things, then they have them and they're not being treated, it's a yes and they get graded. But if they are being treated, then they can qualify for standard first day coverage. Okay, again, this is a tough one. If they answer yes to this, it's going to be graded. Mental disorder, brain, nervous system problems, systemic lupus, SLE, Alzheimer's, dementia, brain disease, Lou Gehrig's disease, Huntington's, all of these will allow the client to get coverage. They just have to live 2 years and 1 day to get full coverage. And again, if they die prior to within the 2 year period of time, their beneficiary gets all the premiums back plus 10%. In the past 2 years, has the client been hospitalized 2 or more times? Now that's in the hospital. That's not going to the hospital for a one-day treatment. They're in and they're out. This is being hospitalized 2 or more times in the past 2 years. If they have that situation, then it would be a yes, they're going to get coverage. But if they say no, they can have full coverage immediately. Within the last 2 years, have you been treated for or been advised by a licensed medical professional to have been treated for alcohol, drugs, opioid, controlled substance abuse, pled guilty, or been convicted of a felony or misdemeanor for any reason, or attempted suicide? Just within the last 2 years. I've seen carriers, they'll say 3 years, 5 years, they'll say ever. So this is just within the last 2 years. Again, very liberal when you're comparing it to other final expense companies out there. And the last question is, within the last 5 years, has your client been advised by a licensed member of the medical profession to have had an organ transplant? All right, so if it's within the last 5 years, it's a yes, then they get graded. If it's after 5 years, first day coverage. Now, I talked about that soft RX. Again, for those of you who may not have heard that, so what they're looking for is not the medication. They're looking for the medication that it is being consistently refilled. They don't want any gaps because that is not good, right? So they're being prudent to keep this policy going for the long haul. So again, if they're taking medication on a consistent basis, then there's a good chance that they're going to get first day coverage on those conditions that I talked about. If while you're taking the online application, if standard comes up, it's going to go back to the area where you can pick and choose between the first day coverage and the guaranteed coverage, and then you would just pick guaranteed to find out what the price would be if you haven't figured that out already. So on the guaranteed issue side, is it graded ROP, return of premium, 10%? Now, here's something that I found out yesterday. You always learn something new. Client is allowed to max out both as individual policies. So I had a case the other day where somebody could qualify for $10,000 on the first day coverage, but he wanted more coverage. So he could get up to $30,000 on the graded if he chose to. So you could pick and choose or both, as long you can max out the first day coverage and the graded. I really like this. A lot of carriers don't talk about this. I think it's great. So, in this case, we have a 53-year-old paying premiums for 10 years. He had a $15,000 policy. And at the end of 10 years, he says, I don't want it anymore for whatever reason. I'm just making this as an example. He could take a cash value deposit back to his checking account for $2,525. Or he can say, he had a $15,000 policy. He can forfeit that cash value and he can keep $5,175 of life insurance for the rest of his life. So he's paid that premium. He can get the cash, or he can just say, let it ride. And my beneficiaries at some point in time will get $5,175, or what they call extended term, which means he can keep that $15,000 for 13 years and 246 days. So again, he was 53. Then at the end of 10 years, he's 63. So you add 13 years to that, and he's got full coverage for that period of time. It's pretty good. Where can I get a quote? Well, like I said, in the CICA agent guide, they have all the rates per thousand for both plans. And again, there's no policy fee, there's no modal factor. Once you're appointed, you could actually get the quote from the CICA agent portal. And then once you get the quote, you can go right to the e-app, which takes about 10 minutes. If you subscribe to CompuLife, CICA rates are on CompuLife. There's a company called Fex Quotes. You can get it there. We have our own quote engine, and I really encourage you to go ahead and register. You'll see our emails. You could register. It's free, of course. And not only will you get CICA quotes, but you'll also get all of our other final expense products, our unique guaranteed issue product that I kind of mentioned in the very beginning, and our term products. All are on our Visionary website. Register for free. You have complete free access to it. And there's a company called Best Plan Pro. That's where I say there's an underwriter in your computer. Let's talk about doing the right thing for your client. And I've heard this a million times. I've had an agent call me and they say, I want a Gerber quote. I want an American Corebridge AIG quote because they're in that guaranteed issue area. And they say, my client needs guaranteed issue, which is an automatic graded plan. They haven't really maybe researched it. They just been around, know that a lot of those carriers, and I agree with them, in the past have either declined it or set it to graded. So they just kind of gravitate to the graded. So just as an example, a 60-year-old diagnosed with kidney failure who's on dialysis. If you just thought, let me just go to a guaranteed issue, and the best price was Gerber at $126.87. Gerber writes a lot of graded death benefit plans, and with it's got a 2-year wait. Had they put that policy in with CICA, right, that $20,000, they can get first day coverage for $106. So they're saving $20 a month, and they don't have to wait 2 years. That's what I said. Just, I'm going to demonstrate Best Plan Pro and why that is so important for you to underwrite these things. All right, finding a needle in the haystack. Think about when you have a client who's got all of these different conditions, overweight, medications, all that stuff. Where do you start? A lot of, you have contracts maybe with a number of different carriers, and you got to pull out their underwriting guidelines. You don't even know if they're current. You start looking for a height and weight. You start to look to see if they have any condition exclusions. You're going all over the place, right? There's a company out there that I say there's an underwriter in your computer or your cell phone. And so let's just kind of think about an agent who buys leads, and all of a sudden, right, they get a lead. Well, you paid for it, you're happy, you got a lead. So this gentleman, I'm saying he's 55 years old. He says he's a non-tobacco user, and he's looking for $20,000 of final expense. He's 5'10", and he weighs a mere 350 pounds. Now, remember what I said. CICA doesn't have a height and weight chart. They don't ask a smoking question. And he was diagnosed with congestive heart failure 5 years ago. So that is a tough one. So not only is this gentleman overweight, he's also got congestive heart failure, which is, in it, like I said, in most cases, you will see that they will decline it. What do? How many agent guides do you need to go through? How many you got to call all the different carriers? How much time are you spending looking for that one needle in a haystack? So again, you could read through, maybe you have the applications for the carriers. This application happens to be with the #1 seller of final expense in the country, which is United of Omaha, a Mutual of Omaha company called Living Promises. If you were to look in that application, I won't open it now for time reasons, but you'll see that if they have congestive heart failure, it's a decline. You can't get coverage. So again, it's easy to think about just going to a graded guaranteed issue product. Now, let me back up just a second. Mutual of Omaha does have a guaranteed issue life insurance product. The only problem is they're competing with you. If you've seen commercials on TV, you can get a guaranteed issue product with Mutual of Omaha. But the problem is you got to go to Mutual of Omaha's call center. So they're competing with you. I don't like that personally. So again, do the best you can do for your client, but how do you know? Best Plan Pro finds that needle in a haystack while finding the best plan for your client. So I'm going to just show you this real quick. So this is Best Plan Pro. I put it in there already for time reasons. 55 years old, 5'10", 350 pounds, male, says he's never smoked. And his final expense, he lives in Texas and he wants $20,000 of coverage. And he also has congestive heart failure, and he's taking nitroglycerin as a medication for that congestive heart failure. So again, ladies and gentlemen, think about how fast this is. There are over 60 different plans that are calculated in less than a minute. So let's go ahead and run this quote. And I've timed it. It's usually around 30 seconds, if not sooner. Now I put in 20,000. I could have put in 10,000. You could put in as many face amounts as you want. So the more, so again, what you have with that condition, which isn't out of the ordinary, right? Somebody with congestive heart failure. You've got CICA with immediate coverage, right? Day one coverage for $86.03 a month. And everyone else is graded and more expensive. So if there was another carrier that would be immediate, if it was less expensive than CICA or more expensive, it would all be synchronized. So all the graded plans are here now. So there's Gerber at $114. Again, guaranteed issue, no health questions, but do the right thing for your client. So you have all the different plans out there. Corebridge is at 147. Again, return of premium, all the different plans. Now, Aetna, good company, they do not have a height and weight chart. Okay, they're very similar to CICA. Aflac does not have a height and weight chart, but they're ineligible because of the condition. All right, doesn't qualify. So you could look at details. The reason it was excluded is because of the health reason. Now, you come back up here and you're appointed with CICA and you say, okay, I'm ready to go. My client likes that, $86. Let's view the details, or we could go right to the e-app. So they're going to take you right to the e-app. You put your username, you put your password in, you sign in, you could start taking that application immediately. All right. So again, this is going to eliminate you sifting through carrier underwriting guidelines applications. Now, I talked about a couple of carriers that we are, we are a unique national marketing organization. I used to run and I used to own Brokers Alliance. I started that in 1981 out of the basement of a house. It has grown to a national organization. Because I'm a cancer survivor, my son was ready to take over. My son David now runs Brokers Alliance, which is a great company. In fact, he's behind, we do business together. He's behind this particular product. It's a term product. So again, I just told you about everything I possibly could, and we're going to send you more on the CICA plan. But I promise that we have two other products that you can have to you for your advantage, right? So this is called InstaBrain. It's underwritten through Fidelity Life. It's an A+ or A- excellent rated carrier. So again, what is a good typical commission for a very competitive low-cost term? I found it's somewhere between 75 and 100% commission. I'll find that is where those term rates are. Again, the more expensive a term product is, oftentimes you could get more commission. Commissions are part of developing what that term premium is going to be. But ladies and gentlemen, to get 130% for a 20 and 30-year term that's competitive, or 120% for a 10-year term, 125% for a 15-year term is fantastic. Again, these are competitive rates, and InstaBrain, this is through Fidelity Life, includes what I'm saying, the best chronic illness writer in the industry. So what are the sweet spots? Because it's non-med and it is guaranteed to your client will have an offer at the end of the time that you took the app. There is no referring to an underwriter. There is no, okay, we got to wait and write your doctor or even set up an exam. Your client will know. So with that, we really are looking for clients who can qualify for a standard or better rate class. We don't want those, past cancers or past heart attacks or past strokes. It's not going to qualify. I'm just telling you that right up front. So you can get this commission at that rate with the chronic illness writer. We're looking for standard or better clients. And their sweet spot is really that 30-year term. This is very competitive. Okay, we also have another plan that just came out in January. It's called Allstate Guaranteed Issue, first day coverage to $75,000. Now, this is a unique plan. I'll tell you up front, this is a group filed plan sold to individuals. All right, it's a group file plan sold to individuals. So again, any agent who is actively selling life insurance at some point in time will need this product. It is guaranteed issue. It's available from 18 to 70, anywhere from 10,000 to 75,000 face amounts. And again, there's no reduction due to age. Remember, with CICA, it reduced down to $10,000 over 70 years old, 20,000 at from 51 to 70. So again, it's first day coverage. It's not graded. There are no health questions whatsoever. Again, no height and weight, no prescription check, no MIB, no MVR. Ladies and gentlemen, there is absolutely no underwriting in this plan. We have an easy quoting tool, a 10-minute ticket e-app. The whole life policy is guaranteed to age 121. And if your client is fortunate enough to live up to age 95 and beyond, premiums stop. So after 95, they don't have to make any more premium payments and coverage is guaranteed to 121. There's our spouse and child rider. It builds cash value for both the main insured and the spouse. Premiums never increase, coverage never reduces, and the premiums include also a chronic illness living benefit. Not as good as the one with InstaBrain, because that is the best. Now I'm giving you snapshots of this. If you're interested, you're going to have the ability to get more information on these two other additional products, and you'll get everything that you need. Again, this is available in all states except New York, and it is an A+ rated carrier. The only question that they have, the only requirement, that your client must be actively at work for 20 hours per week and have done so for the past 3 months. That's the only qualification. So again, it fits in certain situations. Where it doesn't fit, if you got somebody who's not working, well, that's where CICA comes in, or under 18. So again, every product has a little bit of a niche, and this one certainly does. Somebody needs more life insurance than the 25,000 or the 10,000. So at the after this webinar, you're going to get a Let's Get Started email, and in here has everything that you will need to look over. There's the underwriting guideline, the agent guide, request to contract. All right. If you need a quote, you got a client right now, there you go. We even gave you sample policies if you want to look at it, the state approval list. And again, you can record conversations with your clients, and there's some stipulation and rules that you need to know. Again, all of that you're going to get. We're also going to send you training videos for CICA. And again, you're also going to get the ability to request a contract for the InstaBrain if you're selling term insurance. Again, standard or better clients, you'll like this. And as well as that Allstate plan if you want to get further information or if you want to get contracted. Okay, Best Plan Pro, that's available to agents. There is a cost to it. They do charge agents $26.50 a month or annually $300 for the to have access to that. I'm telling you, it is a lifesaver. Those premiums or those costs that you're paying, $26.50, that's a tax deductible item. It's tax deductible. And I figured it out. One $30 a month case at 70% commission. Okay, one $30 a month case at 70% commission would pay for that subscription for the year. It'll save you time. It'll save you effort. You're going to do the right thing for your client, and you'll make some money doing it. Okay, we look forward to working with you. I'm going to answer some questions in a second here, but if you have any questions, you can send those to sales@visionaryinsurance.life. You could call us at 866-398-8293. Jessica Lopez, extension 402, and Cheyenne at extension 450 can help you facilitate any of those plans that I talked about. So again, thank you. I'm going to answer some questions. Feel free to jump on that question and answer, and we can go from there. Yeah, we do have a recording of this webinar. It might not be this particular version, but it'll basically go over the same things we just went over today. Yes, you can have a guardianship or power of attorney. Can work with dementia clients. Absolutely, that's a good question. Multiple conditions for one client is again very, very possible. You could have high blood pressure controlled, and you could be on dialysis, and you can get first day coverage as long as you're taking your blood pressure medication consistently. They could get first day coverage, but for sure they can get guaranteed issue. Let me see, got some other questions here. Yep, I'll have the recording available. Yes, you'll have the recording available. Well, again, we had a great crowd here today. I appreciate all of you joining on a Friday, TGIF. Those of you, I'm up here in Minnesota looking at a big storm coming through, like many of you others as well. So anyhow, God bless. You guys have a great weekend, and we look forward to doing business with you. If you have any other questions, keep sending them in, and we will get all of that information out to you as well. Yes, you could have a TIN number. That is acceptable. It's acceptable with CICA. Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be around for a little bit, and I'll leave this on the screen in case you have any other questions. Thank you, Tina. Appreciate that. All right. It looks like we're about done. So again, thank you so much.